Add
Oh,
now.
I'm not driving. I'm not driving. I'm with a buddy, so it's all good.
Okay. Okay, good, good, good.
Yeah.
We're live on air.
All
All
right.
right.
Are you ready, Joseph?
I believe so.
Melissa, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, well, so this is Group C, and I'm going to be interviewing Joseph, who is interested in going into work in the pastoral field, correct?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. So I got a couple questions for you. Let me pull them up here.
Cool.
So my first question would be, what made you want to become a minister or go into pastoral fields?
I think for me, I've grown up in church my whole life, and I've just had a lot of personal experience in the ministry, and I've seen the growth and the way it's changed people's lives. And so for me, it's the way that I can give back to people, and I can impact lives, and also doing music and all that is what I love to do. And so I just feel like it's a great fit for me with what I love to do. So yeah,
Okay, right on.
cool.
So my other question is here, what do you think would make you a good pastor?
I think I'm really good at being a good listener. I think I'm really good at connecting with people and finding common interest and diffusing arguments. I'm a really good mediator with my friends. My friends really come to me a lot for counseling and just to be there for them. And so I feel like in a pastoral role or a pastoral position, I'd be really great at listening to people that might have an issue with something that I'm doing or an issue with how something is operated at the church that I'm working at. And I feel like I'd be really great at um, being that wisdom and being that calm voice that can listen and make a change. So,
Right on. Okay. You thought a lot about these questions.
yeah.
Okay, we're going to get into some hard ones here.
All right, let's do it.
So, what would you do if someone came to you, and you're a pastor, and someone came to you and had questions about their beliefs? How would you handle that?
Define beliefs. Like, is it a would it be like
Um,
an like a
so
morality issue or
I grew up in the church a long time, and growing up my entire life. And at one point, see, I'm trying to think how I can phrase this. I didn't say I didn't believe, but had some strong questions of how do I know you're right and people down the street at the Buddhist church aren't right?
yeah?
How do you know that?
Hmm.
So explain to me how someone would approach you about, I think I'm in the wrong religion. I need to be either Buddhist or Jewish
Yeah.
or Muslim. How would you handle a situation like that?
I think when you're talking about inner truth and truth on that aspect, I could go into like a geological and historical um, way of explaining on how times in the Bible and all that stuff have been proven true through history and all that. But I think the most effective way at reaching people would just be explaining the experiences I've had in my life and the freedom that I've found in my religion. And so I feel like that would be more of the way that I would approach it with somebody like that and leave it up to them because it's religion and all that should never be forced upon somebody. But I think the goal of myself and my religion is to show people the freedom that I have and the just amazing life that I have with God and how He's transforming my life and um, just leading me into amazing places and just changing the world. So I think that's more of the approach I'd have, just the love of God and the freedom that I have and all the doors that have been opened and all that kind of stuff, rather than going digging into history and arguing about that, which I could do also. I just feel like when you're dealing with that kind of issue, it should be more of a um, just a personal experience kind of way you should go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Hold on.
Oh yeah, I hear something.
For some reason I'm getting an ad.
It's kind of a little
Okay.
unprofessional. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry about that. That was totally my bad. I don't know how
Oh,
it
no.
popped up.
Yeah.
So
Who
that
knows?
wasn't one of your questions, by the way. We're just
Yeah.
going to pretend that
What
didn't
happens if an
happen.
ad pops up in the middle of your interview?
I don't know how that happened. I didn't click on anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all good.
Again, I apologize.
No
So
worries.
I grew up in a small, well, didn't grow up, but I lived in a small town in Texas for a long time, and I loved it. And we went to a very small church, and that was wonderful. Do you
Yeah.
want to be a pastor at a big church, or do you like the small, little quaint kind of country churches, or do you want to take on something like, I don't know if you're familiar with Life Center in Tacoma. It is a huge, humongous church. They have, I think, 4 services a Sunday.
Which church did
Something
you
like,
say?
what's that?
What church did you say again?
Do you want to be a minister in a large church like the one in Life Center? They have like 4
Oh,
services
yeah, Life
on
Center,
a
yeah.
Sunday. Or do you want to be a small little kind of like country church? Where would you want to pastor at? Or do you want to be a missionary?
Yeah, I think for me, I've kind of grown up in a small country church, and I've grown as like through middle school till my collegiate career. I've kind of been in a larger church, so I've kind of had the experience from both. Um, I think I function really well with lots of people. I get lots of energy from being around lots of people. It really just gets me excited and all that. So I think I would like a larger church,
Okay.
just for the aspect of I feel like I am really good in big group environments, and I get a lot of energy from people. And I think if I'm in that kind of role, I think being really energized and I love people, being around lots of people. So I think that a larger church would be kind of suitable for me. Yeah.
More your forte?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, right on. So this kind of has to go back to one of my questions I asked you earlier.
hmm
How do you deal when people come up to you and question your faith, such as, how can you believe in God? You can't see him, you can't touch him, you can't feel him. How do you deal with that?
I
Someone
think
were to say
it's
that to you.
I think it's kind of like what I said earlier. I mean, I could go into the historical side of it and the just the consistency of prophecies and all that stuff throughout the Bible. But I think what I would say the most is just personal experience I've had in my life and victories that I've found in my life from being in church and from being invested into God and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more of where I would focus my time. So
Okay.
yeah.
Lost my arrow here. Lost my questions. Okay. How would you bring more people to the church?
I would probably definitely like do some outreach, like going to high schools, or if there were students in our youth group, I would like have an event and like make little flyers and stuff for them to give out to kids at their school. I would definitely want to be, if I was in a pastoral role, which I would hope, I would definitely want to be somebody that doesn't feel like they're too big to be involved in individual kids' lives. And because I feel like when the church is really big, it's important to make connections in a smaller way too. So getting people to the church, I think I would really try to just encourage people bringing their friends, and then have events and make flyers and do promos and get social media going for it and all that. And so yeah.
Okay, now that you said that, I'm actually going to skip ahead to one of my questions. And one of the questions I was going to ask you was, do you think a church should be active within the community, or should you let the community come to the church? Like, should the church take part in community events, or should the church be in charge of getting the community involved in the church events? Such
Oh, I definitely,
as,
yeah.
like potlucks, carnivals, things like that.
I think 100% the church should be super invested into the community, because I feel like the whole goal of the Bible and what Jesus' mission was reaching out to people.
Okay.
He didn't just sit there and say, "I'm Jesus, come to me." Like he went out to people, and he gathered people. He gathered thousands of people because he went out there and did work and didn't just sit back and wait for people to come to him. So I think that's like the similar way I'd approach church events and stuff, like being involved with the community, showing people that Christianity is not just a judgmental group of people. Like the goal behind Christianity is for people to see freedom in their life. And like that's what I would want to do and show people. Like go to events and just be real, just be me, not be fake, and just show the love of God to them. Yeah.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
What would really set you aside from other people that would be applying to be a pastor at a church? What would make you the best candidate at becoming a pastor for a church?
I think what sets me aside is, I mean, I've had a lot of experience in the ministry, and I know that could come across the wrong way, but I've gone through a lot of times where I've been, discouraged, or people have set me back and humbled me and like had me not do stuff, and I've continued to serve and I've continued to be consistent in my church throughout my entire life. Something for me is, I don't care if I'm on a stage singing, I don't care if I'm taking out the trash, I don't care what it is, as long as I'm serving and as long as I'm being a part of something bigger than myself. I feel like that kind of attitude and that kind of spirit like really sets me apart and shows that I'm doing it for something bigger than myself. I'm not trying to make myself great, I'm trying to make God great. And so I feel like in a church environment, I really just people can feel that I care about them and that I'm not trying to use people for anything. I'm trying to be used myself to help others.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, one more kind of difficult question to ask you, and please don't take it personal.
Oh, no, not at all.
Have you ever questioned your own belief system?
Oh, yeah.
And this is actually going to be a
Definitely.
two-part question. Have you ever questioned it, and then how did you come to terms with it, or what was the outcome of it?
So I went through like a really big time in 8th grade where I was like really depressed. I was getting bullied a lot and stuff at school, and I kind of felt like I'd been abandoned by God. And I think what happened was like, even though I was mad at God for a while, I was going through this tough stuff, I still continued to pray to God and go, God, please, really, like, I don't want to be in this situation. Please take me out of it. And so what I did was just kept praying, and then time after time again, God would do things and show himself to me. And it's like, as much as I wanted to say, oh, this isn't God, this isn't like anything worth, something, God would do something again that was just miraculous. Because even though I was questioning God, I still wanted to hear from him. And so I feel like any time in my life where I've had questions about God, I just say, God, show yourself to me. And every time he does. It's something that I always needed. Like recently, I was praying for, I'm trying to apply to be a worship pastor, but this is actually a couple days ago. I was praying for a new acoustic guitar, because my other one's really bad. And I had somebody just give me a $500 guitar for no reason. And I hadn't talked to them or anything. But it's like, I've been praying for like the past like 3 months about wanting a guitar. And one of my friends just said, hey, I feel like God wants you to have this, and just gave me a guitar. So it's like stuff like that's just an example of stuff that happens to me like all the time. But not like getting gifts. Like, I'm not saying God just gives me all this stuff. But it's just like stuff like that, where God answers a little prayer when I have a, humble heart and I'm not seeking something. And it's like, that's just stuff that I can't deny. It's sometimes he shows up, and sometimes I have to question, why am I really praying for this? Am I praying for this because I want something out of it? Or am I praying about this because, I want to give God something? And it's like, in this situation, I just want to be a better worship leader. And so God made that door open for me. So I think that's how I'd answer the question. Just, I can't deny what God's done in my life, and ways that he's done all these super cool things that I can't explain. So,
okay. Yeah. And then, let's see, what do you hope to accomplish by becoming a pastor?
Well, I definitely, I just want to change lives, man. Like, I think I want to be in a place where people can come to me, and I can, be leading worship on stage, and people can see me and say, wow, that guy really loves God. That's my goal. It's to be just really genuine and to give God my everything, and for people to see that I'm a genuine person and I really do care about God, and that I'm trying to lead them into a better place,
Okay.
And not in a way that's like putting me above people, but in a way that says, hey, let's do this together, So that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah.
Okay, and then you got 2 left. We're almost done here. Have you gone to school for any of your plans of becoming a pastor?
Yeah, so I have done 2 summer internships in my church that were college credit, partial college credit for it was Old Testament Bible and then Tabernacle. So it studied the Tabernacle of Moses and the different levels of the Tabernacle and how that relates to like stuff that's happens in the New Testament and all that stuff. And then right now I'm taking music theory classes so that I have a better understanding of how to lead a set and be dynamic with the key signatures that I'm doing, transitions, how we're ending songs, all that kind of stuff. So, and I feel like after going to Bible college and really finishing out, I'll just have even more of that theological knowledge and musical background to be able to really lead very well and efficiently. So, yeah.
Okay. And then I got one more for you. What would be your greatest strength and your weakness in becoming a pastor?
Weakness.
Yeah,
I
I
know
know
this.
that one was coming.
No, it's good. It's a good question. I think I stretch myself too thin sometimes. I overcommit to people. Sometimes like I'll say yes. I'm a yes man. Like I'm always down to do stuff. So I think me saying yes too much can be a problem. But at the same time, my strength is that I follow through with stuff. So even though I do say yes, and it usually just wears me out, but I do follow through with what I have to say. I'm not somebody that is untrue to his word. You know, I feel like I'm a really grounded person, and I'm not wishy-washy or fake. I really try to stay genuine because I don't want to be someone that, you know, is somebody else on the weekends or anything like that. I really try hard to be somebody that, you know, is above, you know, reproach and isn't judgmental and all that kind of stuff, because that's the way we should live, and that's the way. If you're in the ministry, you have to be, you know, transparent. You have to be the same around everybody to be legitimate. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for me for questions.
Cool.
You guys got anything you want to ask them?
I do not.
Nope.
No.
Sounds great.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will sign off here, and I will send an invite in just a minute for the next one.
Okay.
Sweet. And Melissa, can you send me the link to this one too?
Yeah. Once we're all done.
Okay, we can just post them all on the Canvas or whatever. Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Bye.